Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips and Damo. How are you, gents?
Ooh, what is that? I'm good. How are you?
Just slightly distracted. Ooh, lamp. I love lamp.
Yeah, you'll notice the brightened colours of today as my lamp is broken. So it can't be a spoopy month.
That's what
Even
we
though
had
I've changed my Twitter name. It's not Glowing Tacos after the great glow show of
Spooky Tacos?
Spoopy. Because
Spooky
that's
Tacos, yeah, right.
how we run Spooktober.
So we're trialing a mini news compilation thing for this episode. We'll come up with a really witty name somewhere down the line.
Yeah, we don't have a name yet. It's TBA.
Yeah.
Dash 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Done. And I'll create a whole new podcast feed for it and everything. So we're kind of slapping together a few news stories. The last time, and most people would have recognised this. No, actually, we all changed our shirts last time, so no one would have known that we recorded 2 episodes back to back last time around.
I think I was half naked.
Yeah, for a while.
You were.
Your shirt was off for the last episode. So no one would have possibly known that we did 2 episodes back to back, and we're actually like a fortnight behind on the news. But we're gonna pull a few things together in this episode because there's been a couple big ones. None bigger than Steve in Smash.
Oof, the whinges.
Let's start things. Let's start there though.
Sad people that cry about a character that's one of the most sold games of all time. I get it from the logistics point of view, but why would they do that?
So Minecraft. Steve.
Ever the audience that plays Smash? Kids. What do kids play? Minecraft.
You've seen him competitive.
Put 2 and 2 together. Don't know what that is, but
people, 2 and 2 make
2 and 2 together
make a
long
pickaxe.
So Minecraft Steve couldn't make it into our 4 faces on our Mount Rushmore of gaming, but he could make it into Smash. So. Did either of you? I mean, I suppose it was like midnight, so I'm not sure that necessarily you watched it live at the time. But have either of you kind of caught up with the 2 streams? The first one that announced it, and then the second one that kind of showed off some of the details.
Oh yeah, man! I'm all over that shit. I think it's fantastic
because I was most hyped about the Banjo-Kazooie amiibo. So
your last.
I saw that too. I was like, what?
Your last character was a B smasher. You just mash B, and it's very good for basic players and things like that.
Min, right?
Min gave people, like new players, a really good basic introduction to the game that, to play okay with. Then you've got Steve, which is a character that this is where Nintendo went slightly wrong, which a majority of the younger audience gets who Steve is, and will be like, I want to play as Steve. But his controls and everything and his moves, it's a very advanced Smash character. Really, when you break it apart, the amount of blocks he has in his inventory, not just him, because he can play as Steve
there's a whole bunch of other Minecraft characters too. I don't know. I'm talking shit if I
Enderman
pretend like I know what I'm talking about.
Creeper?
I'm just gonna look like a fool.
No, Creeper.
Oh yeah, that's one.
I think I only know that from Borderlands 2.
The female. Oh yeah, that was sweet. They should bring that back.
Borderlands 2.
No, but no one complained about that. No one complained about creepers in bloody Borderlands, eh? But no, we'll complain about
probably because
Steve.
most people couldn't find it. Like, where is it?
That was tricky, wasn't it?
It was very well hidden. I'll give them credit.
It didn't run right. It's just that little jump of that very last cell. No, but I think it's great. It really is. It's really well broken down. It's a character that you can get behind, and if you bought that Smash Pass, like I did, I brought it because I'm like, oh, I like Min, and I look forward to the map. Looks cool. That's definitely, I'm sure the music they'll get the direct music from Minecraft.
They've already listed some of the music that's coming across. Now, it meant nothing to me, but they are getting like Minecraft tracks, so I guess they're buddy and Microsoft to make it happen.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they already did that when they had the Minecraft on the Switch that could be cross-platform.
Yeah.
But PlayStation were the only ones that couldn't.
Which has been corrected as well.
Yeah, it has been corrected. Yeah, no. I was just saying at that point. So yeah, they're definitely buddy. But no, it's just great to see. Like again, I think it it's a character that anyone can play. It has advanced play in there. It's Steve. It's notable. Kirby eating him looks hilarious. Like,
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
it's like
This is turned into like a
joke to
block.
you.
Just a block.
Yeah, he just goes into a cube. It's great. I wonder though if Steve can like pick him up and like place him. Like that'd be great. But
it could be right.
I don't know. Like, wasn't what it was. Definitely wasn't expecting it. Definitely happy it's there.
There'd been enough rumors and speculation over the last, I don't know, year. Maybe it was just people trying to will it into existence, but there'd been enough stuff. Microsoft and Nintendo are buddy these days. It doesn't seem like a stretch that Steve would be in it. That I didn't rule it out as a possibility, especially once Banjo and Kazooie were actually in the game. I thought, okay, how far does this go now? I don't think we were going to get Marcus Phoenix or Master Chief or something like that in there, but because that wouldn't fit. Ori'd be good. Let's make that happen.
Ori'd be great. But it's the thing though; these characters obviously worked on for months and months and months. Like,
yeah, and Sakurai said that Steve was like 5 years in the making.
Yeah, so it's like
wow.
They've already got it all planned out. They would have had to have it all planned out. Like, there's no way they just go, oh, the people want this, cool. They've probably, like, if you go back to, like, the list, they've probably, like, because I know Banjo and thing were, like, second on the list. No, King K.
Where's Goku?
King K. Rool was second on the list against Cloud. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, clearly they worked that, from that point, from that list, when they put Cloud in, they were already working on someone like
next?
King K. Rool. So they've probably got a list there that they are working just continuously on. So, like, if anybody's like, they're like, well, I mean, you're going to be disappointed.
All right, give us a year. It'll show up. Don't worry.
Yeah, or 5.
Yeah. But don't stress if the next character's a Fire Emblem character, because don't worry, we'll get to the other shit soon.
Wait, is there? No.
Well,
Monster Hunter.
Byleth
Monster Hunter will come out next year. That'll be when Monster Hunter Rise comes out. You'll get a Monster Hunter character as well.
But who would be that character, though?
Well, you just put
the cat
either one of the Monster Hunters in Rathian gear, because you could just change their color. There's so many colors of Rathian. Or Rathian or Rathalos. There's green, red, pink, blue, silver, gold. But
the character themselves isn't a bit too, and this is only me just speculating here, they're not a bit too generic because they can be customized and all that sort of thing. That's not really going to fit, is it?
What do you
like,
mean?
do we have any other real just totally blank slates in Smash?
You mean blank slates?
Well, like, as in characters that are a product of character customization.
Well,
everyone else is kind of.
You've got pretty much any Fire Emblem avatar.
Well,
Robin,
they are actually
Byleth.
a character with their own story and an actual specific look, as opposed to
Monster Hunter characters. You barely see them. You don't see their face. They're normally covered in armor. So
don't get me wrong. I'd like for Monster Hunter to be in there. That's just my question. Is like, does it work?
Yeah, you just go the generic, like what Shepard would look like, male or female. Like, you just think they're super customizable, but they are.
It's my favorite Smash Brothers on the Citadel.
Blank slates. So you just have anything that, because you're not going to go super detailed, like, oh, they've got green eyes, or oh, they've got red eyes. It's like whatever character they use in the trailer, how they look base, base mode. That'll be the stock model that they use. Yeah,
that'll be right.
Characters.
Matto, is there anyone that you think they should be dropping in? I mean, there's 4 more characters still to be revealed.
I'll just bring Conker back. Just entering in with a chainsaw, cut someone in half.
Damn, that would be great.
Yeah, not old
hilarious.
school.
I don't think it's going to happen, but
that invite thing that always flies out or whatever.
Or just him drunk hitting on Peach or something. It's something just completely out of character for that type of game. And you just look and go, what is going on here?
I'm still going to lobby for Crash Bandicoot. I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Oh, Crash.
And he fits. Crash fits.
Yeah.
So,
it'd just be his moves already in any game.
Exactly. It's just copy and paste.
Spin. He wasn't in... No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't in PlayStation All-Stars.
Yeah. I was like, no, that long left PlayStation.
Because that was the one that everyone was kind of confused by. I'm like, Crash is one of the most iconic characters for PlayStation of all time. Why is he not in the game? But that would have been licensing and Activision and
Yeah,
all that.
the licensing, because it left Sony's complete control. So
That's life.
that's alright.
One of the other big pieces of news, and the one that we'll probably spend more time on, I'd imagine, today, was the fact that Bethesda had been bought up by Microsoft. And we're not going to really dive into a huge amount of detail with that because everyone's spoken about the $7.5 billion and, okay, it means you get Doom and you get Elder Scrolls 6 in 2035 when it comes out and all that sort of stuff. There'd been a lot of internet stuff, people going, oh, they should go and buy Konami or they should go and do this. And this is all for PlayStation. How can they return serve? Damo, you kind of floated out there, and it's an idea that had crossed my mind as well, and I don't know about you, Matto, but that Square-Enix would be a company that Sony could potentially, return serve and try and do the same thing with.
When you talk about copies of Skyrim being sold, right, you go, yeah, that's cool. Let's talk about any Final Fantasy game. Let's talk about how many copies they sold for one console. You're a
they're not
math teacher,
Skyrim numbers.
Man. No, but you do the math though. If you worked out the percentage, if Skyrim was sold on one console for one edition versus the fucking any amount of outside that one Final Fantasy game that nobody talks about, that they made 3 spin-offs or 2 spin-offs for about some kind of
13.
weather report thing. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, the poor Matto's just like, what? A fantasy?
What the fuck are they talking
final?
about?
Why are there 13
Final?
of them?
But this is like the opposite of the never-ending story.
Yeah.
It's like Final Fantasy. It's like John Farnham. It's like the John Farnham of games.
Not that we need to dive into too much of the actual official background stuff. Matto, do you know anything about why Final Fantasy is called Final Fantasy? They'd been trying a whole bunch of different games and nothing worked, and it was their last ditch effort before they went broke. So it was like their final go, and it's a fantasy game, Final Fantasy, boom, and then it exploded. They became super popular, and the franchise just took off. So
18 games later.
If only it was just 18. It's more like,
was it?
Probably. Well, there's I guess now 16 core ones, but then you've got 1,000,001 spin-offs.
A movie.
Chocobo Racing, Chocobo Tales,
Chocobo.
Dungeon.
There'd be
Chocobo.
There'd have to be at least 100.
Chocobo. Oh wow.
100 maybe is a bit much. We'll go at least 50.
Yeah, the same amount of.
Is that your final offer?
Yeah, we'll go with at least 50. But
at least 50.
Wow. The Square-Enix one that you've raised, and it hasn't been mentioned as much because a lot of people on the internet were going, oh yeah, Konami, because Metal Gear and Castlevania and all that, and Silent Hill. Some people have gone, oh, Capcom. Like, okay, sure.
Capcom's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, there'd be trouble with that. The Square-Enix one does get brought up, but I'm kind of with you that it might be if there was some way to make it work, and obviously Sony is nowhere near as profitable as Microsoft, so if they needed to get somewhere near the same amount that Microsoft paid for Bethesda, then Sony wouldn't be able to afford to do it. But
Square Enix aren't that.
They're not. But it's still a big pickup. What do we think about the idea of Matto? What do you think about the idea of if they picked up Square Enix? Because it's not just Final Fantasy. Obviously, they've got heaps more than that.
But weren't a lot of Square Enix games in the past on PlayStation only? Wasn't Kingdom Hearts?
For the longest time, and then Kingdom Hearts 3 was on both. Final Fantasy 13 and 15 were on both. Everything prior to that was just PlayStation. And
there you go.
Then before all that, there was obviously the Super Nintendo, Nintendo and Super Nintendo days as well. Final Fantasy 1 to 6 was exclusive.
No one brought out Xbox back in the days anyway, so
yeah.
There you go.
The Japanese market still doesn't care about Xbox, so it's picking up a Japanese company would be smart in some respects, and others maybe doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, because if they go buy Square Enix, where the majority of their financial value comes from Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and those sort of things, they're really buying them not because it's going to win over Japanese people, but they're going to
Octopath.
Yeah, Octopath.
Was that Square Enix?
Yeah, that was another one. But they're not really buying them for that, because Japanese people aren't buying Xboxes anyway. If they buy them, they're buying them because it gets them access to Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, for example. You're going to try and twist some West. You want to try and win. win the hearts of the likes of us Westerners who don't just play Japanese games, or maybe in some cases don't play Japanese games at all, and they are more tempted by Tomb Raider or Deus Ex or some of those other Western IP. They used to have Hitman until they let them go a couple of years ago.
And it could be that, like, with that kind of money beneath any company, they can work on their engines better. Like, you know, when there's nothing wrong with gaming companies being independent and developers being independent, you know, but having a company to back you and support you does help a lot. It's like, oh, you need some staff here? That's cool. We'll send them over. It is restrictive at the same time, I mean, it's great because Bethesda will finally be able to upgrade their Fallout engine. Like, you know, all their scrolls.
It'll work.
Same thing,
Hopefully.
the same game that looks the same for the last 20 years.
Yeah, man.
Since,
and
was it,
$7.5 billion.
Oblivion, that's
if
the
they
one.
don't update it, I'm going to.
But that
Be like,
7.5
they
billion is like
were-
loose
they were already
change
doing
for
that.
Microsoft.
They were already doing that, admittedly.
They say that, though. They say they were doing that. Do you believe anything Todd Howard says nowadays?
I mean,
He's not
given
my Lord and Savior.
given Fallout 4 came out in 2015, I figured they had to be doing something. If Starfield wasn't out and it takes 6 years, plus then Skyrim, then Elder Scrolls 6 afterwards, I figured they had to be doing some sort of engine rework.
Hammerfall. Is the next Hammerfall?
No, they haven't put out the subtitle for Elder Scrolls 6.
No, I think that they're saying that that's where they're going to go, though. That a lot of the directions are pointing towards a thing because of Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know. I'm not into like online.
I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor. Kenny, your heart is a baked potato. It's got 6 seconds to live.
I mean, do you guys consider it bit like, given what we've just kind of discussed, would it still be a worthwhile purchase? Like, if you know, because again, most people, if they want a Japanese RPG, they probably have a PlayStation anyway.
Yeah.
The only people you're winning over are maybe people that were trapped on Nintendo, but it's clear that Sony and Microsoft don't consider Nintendo a threat because they're not.
No,
They're not shooting for the same things. They're not,
you
they don't have the
call
same
this a
goal.
threat. Look at this. Look how harmless this thing looks.
Yeah.
People who don't care.
the most.
I mean, look at it.
Switches
I'm not
out.
going to go get mine. No.
Then you
No.
hear
Mine's over there charging because
people are here playing Donkey Kong and hanging out.
out.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Hashtag save the Kongs.
It's believe in the Kong Wars, but that's the thing, right? Is this like console wars 0.20? Like, 2.0? Like, is this where things get kicked into overdrives that, you know, companies are buying up places to get exclusivities to get the draw? Is that where it's heading? Like, I don't like that.
No, because then all of a sudden you just get
you
monopolies.
Pardon? What?
Then all of a sudden you just get monopolies. Like Microsoft's got the. And
For a second there, I thought you said you go into Macca's to play Monopoly, and I'm like,
Don't do that.
why are you bringing that up, man? We're in the middle of a
Mid podcast. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
No. All of a sudden you just got, and Microsoft again, like the $7.5 billion that they paid. PlayStation. There was a report floating around that they made 8 point something billion in about 4 years. Microsoft was that almost paid that much just in one go to buy one publisher.
Yeah.
So like, there's not really a competition. Like if both companies decided, okay, we're just going to try and buy up as many people as we can, PlayStation's cooked because they just don't have the Microsoft Office money or the Windows money.
The world's biggest scam.
Getting
Microsoft
boomers
Office.
to buy Microsoft Office.
Just use the 2002 version.
Nah, they just make it because of all the schools and stuff that buy licenses.
Yeah,
That's where
all
that's
those
where they
schools can just come to me and I'll give them a license that's unlimited for 2003.
I'll give you a Google email, a Google account, and there you go, you're set.
Make so much money. If any school wants to hire us as computer technicians, we will happily take that job for a whopping sum, $150K a year.
I'll take
But
that. That's a pay rise.
yeah. But no,
I'll take a Happy Meal.
Happy Meal. Yeah, you sound like Rice Spirit. His Patreon. It's like, if I get enough Patreons to do this,
Oh, I remember that.
I can buy a Happy Meal once a week. Yeah, Paul used to have his artwork up on his
up in the
wall
background.
behind him.
Or 5 PS5s.
Oh shit!
Oh man, that guy better bring the goods for that video. But I don't know, man. Sorry, because I'm getting sidetracked.
That's what we do. Don't worry. Who cares?
It's fine. That's fine. Is it in their best interest? I don't know. I mean, Square-Enix is a fantastic developer. But I mean, now that you've got Bethesda and you brought Obsidian, I mean, you can legit give people on like Microsoft stuff all out New Vegas too, which is
not to mention also they've got In Exile, which are the people who did the original Fallout games as well. They've got like every company that's ever made a Fallout game is there at Microsoft now.
Yeah, it's the Fallout cinematic universe in the making.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
just buy up all the properties.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to start ranting. Don't worry.
It's not going to happen. They'll just hire a bunch of animators to do a YouTube series. It'll be great. But
in the vein of Red versus Blue.
No. Like the special videos made by I can't think of his name now. Felix Colgrave, Melbourne man, made the special videos for Fallout 4. You ever watch them? Oh, they're great. So. They're fantastic. It tells you how, like, you know, L's for luck. Like, you know, what does luck do? And it's like just like the Pit Boy guy, whatever his name, Fallout guy.
Oh, those videos. Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, I'm with you. The ones in the game.
It'd be a whole, you know, Fallout Shelter universe.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing for me is I just don't see PlayStation needing to buy a Japanese publisher because they already, like, Final Fantasy 16 is exclusive. It's coming to PC as well, but it's, as far as the consoles are concerned, it's exclusive to PlayStation. So, and they didn't have to buy them out. I'm sure there's some sort of, you know, business deal that's taken place, but it's far cheaper than going out and buying the entire publisher.
Sure.
And they're not missing out on a huge amount. Like the stuff that the Switch gets, no offense to some of those games, but they're not, like, Octopath Traveler is brilliant and I adore it. And there's, you know, the Bravely Default games are pretty good too, but and there's other examples as well, but they're all, for the most part, they're like the B tier franchises from Square-Enix.
Yes.
Like they're not getting the gold. That's where the big boy consoles are coming into it. So they just need to keep making those little deals. The big boy consoles, big boys and girls consoles.
For the big boy, this is for the big boy consoles.
Yeah, so they don't need to like buy. It's more of like a, I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. This doesn't make any sense, and they wouldn't be able to afford it either. But we're talking like the Ubisofts and the EAs and Activisions. Those like the ones that actually have influence with people that would consider buying Xbox or PlayStation.
So the only way they could do it if they somehow got Blizzard.
Yeah, and that's not gonna. Well,
that's
and that's
never
like
gonna happen.
You got to pry that out of Activision. So
it'll always be the other way around almost.
Closer, yeah. They're probably more profitable. They're probably a more expensive, more valuable company. But so I don't know. I think for PlayStation, I think the best thing they can do is either like cherry pick small studios, like what they did when they just bought Insomniac, and what Microsoft did when they picked off Obsidian, and they, like, just buy teams rather than a whole publisher. Yeah, or start building some new teams. Like, they haven't done that in a fair while, but they have done it in the past, and they've had a lot of success doing it. So it's maybe just, you know, steal a few people, best talent from Naughty Dog and best talent from Sony Santa Monica, and get them all together, and out of the studios under the PlayStation as well. Recruit some people and then build a new studio. That's what Xbox is doing at the moment with the Initiative, the one that's making the quadruple A game, not just triple A. There's an extra A in there. That's how good this game is supposed to be whenever they actually show it. But they've gone and taken people from Crystal Dynamics, so, you know, Tomb Raider. They've gone and picked off people from Insomniac, so Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man and all. Like, they're just cherry picking talent. They've taken a bunch of people from Sony Santa Monica, so God of War. They're just picking off people, and they're building a team around them. PlayStation needs to do that, I think, and start a studio from scratch. Because for the most part, like, PlayStation already has good studio. Like, they already had A-tier studios making A-tier games, or, you know, top-tier games. Xbox was getting criticised because they didn't have, you know, quote-unquote good exclusives. Whether you agree with that or you don't, like, that's the that was the criticism that people would throw at them. So they bought up studios to do that. PlayStation's already got good studios, so they don't need to go hammer and tong. They just need to
make good games.
Keep making good games and, make a few smart purchases along the way and they'll be fine. And just don't let Xbox buy up any more publishers. Because
then they're screwed.
Yeah.
I say, what would the next one after Bethesda? They took BioWare or something. Sega? Oh, yeah. Sega. But would that be possible?
Yeah.
Oh, no, but they're working with Nintendo, so they can still have Sonic, so...
Well, I mean, yeah,
no
and
problem
at the
there.
end of the day, Sega's still their own company, so it's just a matter of, buying them out hypothetically, and that's... Like, that wins over a lot of Japanese people, because, I want to play Sonic, or I want to play Yakuza. Yeah, which I know I saw on Twitter today, you've been still playing Yakuza too. Like, there's...
I've been distracted by the old Cabaret mini game.
Yeah, you haven't actually been playing Yakuza 2, you've just been
No,
playing
I've
the
been
Cabaret.
playing it all.
Which
He's
I still don't
making
know anything
heaps
about, but I got a laugh
Heaps
on
of
Twitter.
Dollary dues. Or yenry dues, or whatever you want to call them. The yen. So I don't know how much that's worth in dollary dues, but it's a lot.
Not a clue. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it needs to be a Western company, whatever they do.
Is there a concern that buying a company... Is there a downfall to it? Outside of, exclusivity deals? And
Well, how does Phil Spencer plan on keeping across 23, I think it is 23, like, top-tier studios now? Like, that's a hell of a lot for him and his team, presumably, to oversee. Now, admittedly, it looks like Bethesda's still kind of working in their own bunker for the most part. Like, they're kind of looking after themselves, but they'll get support.
Their vault?
Their vault, yeah. Sorry, they're in their own vault. Very good. Brilliant.
Does it become a logistical nightmare? Does it, like... Is there like a worry that if anything happens, like Microsoft just go, yep, fuck you, but we own your rights to this, like to all these projects you were working on, they're ours, but we're dropping the whole team. Is there things like that?
You're talking about a rare situation here, or?
Oh man, that rare shit upsets me greatly when I heard about the thing. What was it? Like before they made Yooka-Laylee, some of the guys from Rare were legit at the Microsoft office folding T-shirts. That shit's disgusting. Like that's horrible to hear, and I don't want that to happen.
I don't know that story.
Yeah, no, it was in their like Kickstarter video or something. Like it was like before we started just say screw this. They were legit like making T-shirts for Microsoft office. Like they weren't touching games.
Was this pre Phil Spencer or?
I don't know.
It'd have to be pre Phil Spencer, the savior of Xbox.
Follow any of those fucking names and stuff doesn't really bother me as long as Mario exists, Sonic exists, and Steve exists.
Finally got out of the maintenance room. Good on you, Steve.
Now get yourself up on our Mount Rushmore of games.
Is there a risk though from these companies doing it?
Oh yeah.
Do we run?
And it's not healthy for the industry as well, I'd say. Like, if all of a sudden everyone's owned by just there's 2 or 3 companies, let's suppose Sony had more money than they actually do. If you've got 2 or 3 companies that are just buying up everyone, it's probably not good for the state of the industry.
Yeah. So it's kind of like Disney owning, like, all that
Star
media.
Wars and Marvel.
Eventually
Fox.
you get force-fed one thing, and you're like, but what about... Like, what happened to my show? It's like, well, they're under these rules. Like, I think that's happened on something like with ESPN is now owned by Disney, and that's happened a couple of times with commentators and stuff saying stuff like, oh, can't say that. The bosses don't like that. So what boss?
Mickey
Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
No, the guy.
South Park Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Man, if you're gonna call that guy that name, I'm gonna fuck you up. It's like, oh mate, no. Is that the concern? Like, if Xbox owns, I know games aren't super PC. Like, I'm not saying that.
Well, no, they're ridiculously violent. So in a lot of cases.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that they don't have to cater to get more money because they can just go, oh, it's no longer just here, it's now here. Whereas movies, it's like it can only go to a cinema and to like a couple of forms of media. Where games, it's like, nah, we can just spread it.
They can go anywhere and be everywhere.
We can do this. So I guess that's less
before
of a
merchandise. Yeah, it's a weird
any
one.
thoughts and ideas, people, feel free to tweet at player2.au.
Matto,
Hashtag
who should they buy?
patch those perks.
Patch those perks. Matto, who should they
Patch
buy?
those perks.
Who's PlayStation need to buy? Is it a studio? Is it a publisher? Do you want them to just get one franchise? Like just
Maybe
name
they
one
can
franchise.
just buy
What would you like
like
to see?
Nokia or Apple. Well, they're not going to buy
Nokia.
Apple.
Fuck yeah.
Well,
buy
bring back the
Nokia.
N-Gage.
Yeah, the N-Gage. Bring back Snake. Everyone loved Snake back in the day.
Sony Xperia meets the Nokia. Oof.
Crossed with the Vita.
Even your
Vita
TV would be able to call
/N-Gage.
people. Vita Gauge.
It's a
Vita Gauge.
pairing destined to fail, unfortunately.
Maybe they can buy the Zune.
I mean, Microsoft takes the piss out of that in their own games.
Even
Battletoads said
Disney
that.
took the piss out of it.
As
Poor
they should.
Zune. No, it wasn't even taking the piss out of it. They were legit believing that was great. That's the beauty of it. That was the beauty of that joke. It's like, oh, so you can only hope in the next Guardians movie, like he gets
Still
like,
got that Zune.
like the Zune breaks or something, and he gets given like
An iPod.
you know, like a yeah, one of the. Oh no, it is an iPod, like one of the iPod classics or whatever.
A
Well,
shuffle.
no, what was
eventually
another
he gets-
terrible MP3 player?
Oh, he gets a mini disc player or something.
Oh,
those
there we
those
go.
shit ones that were like,
But then
yeah,
you'd be going back. That's the weird thing.
gets a Discman.
To disc.
It's a bit
That's what.
good.
Yeah, that's what they should
Oh.
know. Then they would have had. You would have had to CD. No, God damn.
What was
it,
that
yeah,
little
sidetracked.
No, the little MP3 player where you used to like turn it and used to change the song.
Oh,
I can't remember what
Oh,
it's called.
Yeah, no, they were just MP3 players. You just like
Oh,
plug them
yeah.
it was
directly
generic
into your
MP3.
computer. Like,
Yeah. Load them up and off you go.
maybe he gets like a version of that,
Um,
or he gets an iPod that has the goddamn U2 album on it, and he's like, "What the hell is this?"
Oh, God.
Why has it got these albums? I don't know this song.
That was the day
Oh,
that everyone hated U2.
oh yeah,
What is
right.
this?
Holy
What
shit,
is
yeah.
this? They start.
Oof.
And it was a really
I,
bad
I
album
laughed,
too.
I was laughing at everyone. I thought, haha, my iPod doesn't get it. Then next minute, I look out and go,
Oh, what the hell?
oh no. I thought I avoided it all this time. No, not to be. But I say, if Sony brought Rocksteady, but I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Oh, the WB. I mean, WB games were up for sale for a little while there. It
If
fell
Sony can
through.
just buy off. Oh,
And
that's-
Xbox were actually planning on buying them too, until
oh,
AT&T changed their mind. But
oh, no.
that
Oh, you're in trouble,
could,
Sony.
things
Nah,
things
you're
could
not.
have things could have gotten real ugly there for a while because Bethesda and Warner Brothers games would have been bought up by Microsoft for a brief period there. But I'd love to see, yeah, like if they just even pick off one studio. Yeah, Rocksteady would be a good one. Damo, what about you? A studio or a franchise that you wouldn't mind? Well, not that you necessarily wouldn't mind, but would be a smart one for PlayStation to go after.
The long play and the dream purchase. Just put it out there.
Rockstar?
They buy Nintendo.
Rockstar.
Now I've said this in the past,
Nintendo.
many moons ago.
Jeez,
when Nintendo,
that's a lot
the
of history
Switch
they've got to
didn't exist.
work through there.
The Switch didn't exist, right? Because that changed the game completely. My original thought was, right, that they buy out Nintendo. Nintendo just make handheld console and all the things, and and then the PlayStation handheld department just merges with Nintendo, and then the console stuff goes to Sony, and it's just this beautiful relationship. You get the Sony, Nintendo, PlayStation, Switch control, or whatever they call it, and I think that's the dream, right? That's the dream. These two companies
All Nintendo would do,
the
That still
giant-
kind of hate each other.
all Nintendo would do was they get in and go, hey, see this Vita, right? And throw in the bin and go, this is better.
And then they start waving their
See,
Switch
it is
around.
trash.
Just see this Switch, rubbish. See this Vita,
Or, no,
make
they
it
bring it-
good.
No.
The
They
Vita's
bring a
amazing.
truck
Don't
in.
hang
They
shit
bring
on
a
the
truck
Vita.
in. They tip out all the Vista, whatever they're called, the Vitas,
Vita.
pour petrol over it, and then just
It's a dirty fingerprint covered
It is.
screen, but
one of very few working PS Vistas, Vita,
Vistas.
Vita. I don't even know what it's
Microsoft
called.
Vista, Windows Vista.
Microsoft Vista. Nintendo, PlayStation, Microsoft, Vista.
So I
Windows.
said before that they shouldn't buy a Japanese publisher, but what they need to do is buy up Japanese franchises. They need to go to Konami, kick the door down, and go, we don't want your company because we don't want your pachinko machines and fitness programs and all that bullshit, but give us Castlevania, give us Metal Gear, and give us Silent Hill.
And we'll get Kojima to fix them up back up.
Or Warner Brothers Interactive.
Yeah, well, the Warner Brothers one's tricky because, they were up for sale. We even did an episode about it, and then... But then they took them off the market, so that's not happening. But they'd be good ones to get. They'd be a good one to get.
Well, you could get Gearbox.
That
But I don't know what else they would
that'd be
offer
actually.
other than Borderlands.
Well, yeah, I don't know that too many people are jonesing for Duke Nukem these days.
Or Alien. Or what's their other one? Battleborn.
Yeah, Battleborn, they can keep that. Throw that in the scrap. But it's probably worth buying for Borderlands alone, to be honest. That game sells a shit ton. But, I don't know. Even then, I think 2K probably owns... 2K, buy 2K. That way you get Rockstar at the same
2K.
time.
You can keep your rubbish NBA games. I don't care.
But just buy Rockstar off them. There you go. That's not going to work either, because Rockstar's probably worth more than all of them.
I say Rockstar buy Sony with ease.
Exactly, yeah.
They probably made more money from GTA 5 than Sony did with whatever their sales were.
Yeah. GTA's still
How
been in the
sad's
top.
that?
GTA's still been in the top 20 sales in the US since 2013. It hasn't dropped off. I might maybe for 1 or 2 months at random every now and then.
All those shark dollars.
And the shark
dollars.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
Shark
But, the game is actually in the top 20 selling games every month too. Year after
7
year
years.
after year.
It's like a Meatloaf album.
Who else? It's sold 130 million copies. Who else is there that hasn't bought GTA 5?
100? That's almost a great PlayStation.
Are you gonna buy GTA 5 though? At any point? Yeah, so you're good.
2.
That's fine. No big deal.
Got 2 copies.
I got it on the PS3, and then Mum bought her PS4, and it came with GTA 5, so I just took it off her.
GTA 5 maybe had to buy a new console because I couldn't install it. My hard drive didn't have enough memory.
And now they're putting it out on the PS5 and probably the Xbox as well.
Why?
I don't know. But remember, it was the first thing they showed at the PlayStation event.
They can't. How much further can they go other than first-person shooter? That's what changed.
Oh, Damo's read something.
Well, what about...
We'll end it on this.
Deep Silver Game. Deep Silver Game.
Oh, Saints Row.
Saints Row. Yes,
they're part of...
That's the one that caught me off. I was like, looking through the list, and I'm like, man, I don't know any of these games. And I'm like, oh, wait, I've got to go to the bottom. Like, the games that I might actually know.
They're all part of THQ these days.
Ages.
So to get Coke Media, you're actually buying THQ.
Yeah. Fine.
Who currently owns about 5,000 studios these days.
Dead Island 2. Chorvis. What's called?
Oh, Chorvis.
Chorvis. Our favourite game. Jarvis.
So to Damo's point before, if you're watching / listening now, reach out to us via the socials, all our ones, which you can see on the screen now. If you're
all the
watching
Discords.
There's the Play 2 Discord.
Our patch thing's still empty.
But before that, as Paul, I think you liked Brian Altano's tweet. If you have a problem, and not only Brian's, you like the guy that Brian was replying to too. The Spider-Man controversy here. If you have an issue with the developer, do not send death threats.
Don't be an asshole.
Don't ever in your right mind, do not put somebody's mental health at your having a whinge. You want to have a whinge? Come at me. Like, come on, we'll go down to some Zoom meeting pub thing. I don't know, virtual thing at the moment due to current conditions.
Just put a plastic sheet in front of you. You can have a...
Do not send people death threats, and do not say to come after their families and things like that. It's just not worth it for your sake and theirs. It's not. Tell
them just go yell at a puddle.
Yeah,
make it feel so much better.
I can't wait to see these Spider-Man remastered puddles.
Go yell at a real puddle.
Alright, sorry for interrupting.
Why won't you real?
You goodbyes, but just put it out there. I don't know our fans won't do it, but if you see somebody doing it, call them on it. Like,
slap their shit down.
Ease up.
Nerf gun him in the dick. No, don't do that.
No, do it. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all the buttons down below.
Oh,
hit the notification
Can I
bell.
just say one more? Just want to add one more thing there.
Yes.
Monster Hunter World trailer sucked. I've never
Oh,
watched
yeah.
16 seconds in my life and just thought,
Well,
I
it
never
is just a
thought about
teaser,
it.
so
Can't see out of my gun!
I'm waiting for the real trailer because that teaser was pretty bad. As soon as military
That
people
Diablos
taking on a
looks-
Diablos.
Sick though.
Oh yeah, the
But I think
monsters
that's
will
the
be
oh
whole-
great.
yeah, the monster
I
looks
think
good.
that's the whole thing though, that the monsters have come into our world and then they're going to go after him, and that maybe this is how it all starts.
Just
Hopefully
looks like
that's the case,
Resident
and so like she was
Evil.
just a military. Well, yeah, especially when you have Mila.
It's the exact same people that made
Jovovich.
Resident Evil, but it just looks
Yeah.
like, it's Resident Evil with monsters. They've replaced the zombies.
I hope that
Great.
because that trailer is. I hope that trailer is misleading. It's like she's out there on some military thing. She sees a Diablos and like, oh my god, and then like Damo says, she gets pulled into this thing, and all of a sudden it's Monster Hunter.
Geralt
like,
comes out.
armor, and yeah, Geralt comes out, and it's on for young and old. But we'll see what happens there.
Hey, partner. Hey,
So
partner.
like, share, subscribe, all the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live. That includes Patched, Player 2 Plays, like Game Review, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast, the Player 2 Pixelcast and Dev Diary. We're also on
Marathon?
Patreon.
The
Yeah, the
marathon on this
the
month?
marathon's coming up. I haven't-
Different type of marathon.
I haven't spoken about it enough yet, so I don't actually know what the date is off the top of my head.
November?
It is November
Somewhere?
sometime. It's like the middle of
12th. I'm going to say
November.
12th or 15th.
I think it's just after the consoles come out because,
Because everyone's going to have their console ready to go.
yeah, there'll be like 3 of us
Everyone
that are
will
actually
be
able to.
throwing rocks at Target and EB Games. So
EB's fine. Well, I've got a pre-order there. Target gives me the shits. But I
just
did
be like me and Damo. Just don't care in the world. Don't care about buying it anytime soon. Just
Look, let's
relax,
just-
have a fun time.
let's just look down the barrel of the camera here. Xbox, you've
No,
sent
Paul,
a lot of.
you gotta aim down, close one eye, and then
I'm gonna
put
go
the
with
gun
the-
on that side.
I'm going to go with the open palm point straight down the camera at Xbox here.
Oh, Sam Newman.
The Sam Newman open palm point. So, Xbox, you've sent out a lot of consoles to a lot of Australian and international outlets over the last week or so for previews. Feel free to send one Player 2's way. That way I can tee up a little deal with Matt Hewson. He can transfer his day one pre-order over to me, and he can keep the Xbox that you guys sent. Thanks. mate.
They're listening to that podcast. They're
They,
listening to
they
real-
absolutely listen to this.
They're,
Phil
they're
Spencer's
writing down.
listening
They're
right
writing
now.
down ideas of what companies to buy from our.
Oh, they're going to buy
opinions.
us.
Oh,
They're going to
gonna
buy us. We're going
Ooh.
to become shills of Xbox.
We're going to go hang out with Rare. We're going to fold
Yeah.
some t-shirts. I can't wait.
I don't even know where we're up to. It's a Patreon. Patreon.com/player2au. Kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers, early access. Higher tiers, monthly episode exclusives. And then there's Twitter. Damo.
At Tacos Talks.
Oh, you're
Also
not
the
making
Spoopy Tacos.
Spoopy Taco.
Poopy tacos.
Spoopy.
Spoopy.
Oh, spoopy.
Matto.
_Phil.
Paul James
Hashtag
Games for
save
me. Yeah, save the cogs. Paul James Games for me. The website's player2au. And until next time, go buy a games publisher.